Welcome to my in-depth Chaos Temple prayer guide. Using Dragon Bones on the Chaos Altar can give you anywhere from 270k to 500k prayer experience per hour. While using this altar, there's a 50% chance for a bone not to be used at all, potentially giving you 2 or more uses per one bone. That being said, the Chaos Altar is both cheaper and faster than using ensouled dragon heads, and has absolutely no requirements. It also doesn't run the risk of an altar burner going out, which can make you lose potential experience, or having to deal with the hassle of finding a player-owned house to train in. There's also an Elder Druid that unloads bones at the price of 50 GP per bone, located south of the temple. But there is a catch. It's in the wilderness, so it's much riskier and less passive than any other method, as you have to actively be looking out for PKs. This guide will be split up into 4 parts. Gear needed, breaking down the mechanics and methods of using the Chaos Altar, escaping and banking, and demonstrations with live commentary. Gear needed. To utilize the Chaos Altar, you'll need bones, preferably dragon bones, and being that it is in the wilderness, bring only the amount you're comfortable with losing. I usually bring around 100 or less. You'll also need cash to unload the bones at a price of 50 GP per bone, so 5k for 100 bones. For recommended gear, bring a burning amulet to teleport to the lava maze, which is right near the Chaos Temple. Bring some dragonhide armor, so if you do get attacked, there's a higher chance of teleblock or ice barrage splashing. Add some combo food, such as sharks, Saradomin brews, and super restores. I also recommend bringing 1 stamina potion. And finally, a teleport that works at level 30 wilderness, whether it's a seed pod or enchanted dragonstone jewelry. Breaking down the mechanics and methods of using the altar. I highly recommend accessing the altar when the servers are the emptiest in your time zone to avoid contact with PKers. Also, make sure your logout screen is on the world selection screen, so if you do make contact with a player killer, you can hop using 2 clicks instead of 3. When you are geared and ready, we can find the Chaos Temple by teleporting with the burning amulet and selecting Lava Maze. Then run southwest until you reach the Chaos Temple. There are 2 methods of using the bones on the Chaos Altar. The AFK safer one, where you passively use the bones on the altar that give you slow experience, and then there's the manual one, that gives you 2 times faster experience. The manual way is done by right-clicking the bones and using them on the altar as fast as you can. It also helps if you zoom in to make the hitbox on the altar bigger. This is far more dangerous than the AFK method, as if you are zoomed in, you're going to have to rely on your minimap to spot PKers. And you won't be able to sit on the world selection screen, which usually allows you to hop instantly. In whatever scenario you're in, if you see a white dot on your minimap, it's best to hop worlds immediately. Don't risk losing your bones and potential experience. When you run out of bones, if you brought banknotes and the cash to note them, go outside then southwest and use the noted bones on the Elder Chaos Druid, and then select Exchange All to have your bones unnoted. From here, just keep using your bones on the altar until you run out of bones completely. Escaping and banking. If you're a lower combat level, let's say around 30 combat, you don't really have to worry about PKers because most PKers here are between level 90 and 126 combat. These PKers can log in underneath you, and in or outside the temple, and if one of them does hit you, don't worry because as long as you don't get frozen inside the temple, it's really not that hard to escape. That's because the area inside the temple and a few paces around the temple are multi-combat, while the rest of the area is single-way combat. So if you are getting attacked, go outside the temple and run directly south until you hit level 30 wilderness while flicking the appropriate deflection prayer and eating your combination food, which should always be in the order of food then Saradomin brew. That way you can heal on the same tick. If your stats fall too low from drinking the Saradomin brew, drink a super restore to get your stats back up as your magic level reflects your magic defense. So if your magic level is low, it gives a PKer a higher chance of freezing you. When you finally hit level 30 wilderness and you're not teleblocked, teleport immediately using your enchanted dragonstone jewelry or seed pod. I prefer the Ring of Wealth because it gets me right in front of the Grand Exchange, and I like saving the amulet slot for the burning amulet. Alright, so once you've made it out, give yourself a pat on the back and prepare for your next trip. Demonstrations with live commentary. Alright, so here I am at the bank ready to start the trip. I have everything in my inventory that I do need, and I also have all my gear equipped here. Also, I should mention that only bring the bones you're willing to risk, because if you do die, you're certainly going to lose all your bones. But don't bring in like too little where you're not going to get a good amount of experience from going on these trips. So just keep that in mind. Alright, so first thing we do is right click the burning amulet and select lava maze. Sometimes there are PKers that do camp here waiting for people that go to either the Chaos Altar or the Revenant Cave. So if you do see a white dot as soon as you teleport, just hop immediately and you should be safe. Alright, the first thing we do is we want to go down to level 38 Wilderness. Right now we're at 39, 38. Because if we do run directly west, we're going to run into the Chaos Fanatic, which is right there. So we do want to avoid running into him. Alright, run directly west. It should be coming up right about now, I believe. There it is, perfect. Is there someone in there? That's really suspicious, so I don't want to risk it. I'm just gonna go ahead. Oh no, she's just telegraphing lines. That's okay, that's normal. Alright, so right now I'm gonna show you the slow method, which is pretty much this. So right click the bone and just use it on the altar. And now all you have to do is wait. That's it. Just leave your world selection screen on and your mouse on an open world. And if we do see a white dot here, we just hop immediately and we'll be safe, that's it. Because unlike anywhere else in the wilderness, like fighting Revenant Caves are not in combat, so using this method, you can just hop immediately. Which makes it much safer than doing pretty much anything else in the wilderness. Let's see how many we have left. Wow, I haven't even gone through half of them. That kind of just shows you how effective this altar is for saving you bones. Like compared to the gilded altar. This is just really good. Alright, just 4 more bones. It shouldn't take much longer to use those up. Alright, last one. This one's gonna take a while, isn't it? Okay, now, cool. So now that we've run out of bones, let's go outside the temple. Then southwest, and we don't talk to this great. We don't talk to him. We click on the noted bones. Then we use them on the Elder Chaos Druid. Brings up this menu. We select the third option, exchange all. Alright, excellent. And now this time around, I'm not going to use the same method. I'm going to show you the faster method of training. So let me turn the screen around here. Zoom in on this altar so I can get a better hitbox and get this closer to the altar pretty much. So this manual method is kind of the same way as the first method. Except instead of using it once, just do it as fast as you can pretty much. This is much faster than the other method. Like, I believe this gives you almost twice as much experience because the first method gives you around 270k per hour, while this one nets you about 500k depending on how fast or how much you perfected it. Oh, and something I should add, I guess, is if you're worried about like wasting your bones by burying them, don't, because it actually brings up a screen. Watch. Are you sure you want to do that? Bury the bone, cancel. So you don't really have to worry about burying these bones either on accident. You might drop him, but that really doesn't do anything but slow you down. Oh, I think there's someone outside. Let me hop. Yeah, see, this method is much more dangerous than the other one because I can't be on the world selection screen because I'm on my inventory screen. So if someone does come, I can only see them through my minimap, and it makes it worse because I am zoomed in. You don't have to be zoomed in, but it does make it easier. But yeah, this method is much more dangerous than the AFK method. So I used up all my bones, and pretty much from there, it's pretty simple. Just choose either method and repeat the process. Alright, so this is my last bone, and that does conclude the trip. Let me show you guys how to get out of here. So let me re-angle my map. Let's get out and run south. So now that I'm in single combat, it's much easier to escape if I was getting attacked. My chances of surviving do go like much higher because I do have this combination food, so it's very hard for a Pikir to kill me. Especially if I do go into this graveyard, because sometimes they do get tangled up in those trees. And right now I am safe. So teleport to the Grand Exchange. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. If this method is followed and deaths are kept minimal, you should be able to save 60 mil compared to using a gilded altar, and 15 mil compared to using ensouled dragon heads. Here are the timestamps of the different segments of the video, in case you'd like to review any section. This has been my in-depth Chaos Temple prayer guide. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them down in the comments. Thanks for watching.